What is the most unexplained photo that exists, that's real? I can't seem to Google for it, but I saw a show in the 90s where they debunked photos. There was one of a monk with a demon's face they couldn't debunk. It was really creepy because the monk was a Franciscan with a hood and the demon face was inside. The guy in this picture, the Somerton Man. An unidentified man found dead on a beach in Australia in 1948, with a mysterious note in his pocket. The story reads like a great murder mystery novel. And it freaks me the fuck out. Who's the woman in the brown coat? She filmed the whole JFK assassination from very close and from an angle that might solve many questions. This photo, which used to be at the top of the Wikipedia page about the skunk ape. In the article you'll read that some lady sent these photos to the police claiming an ape was stealing apples from her back porch at night. I live in Central Florida, so I've heard of this guy a few times. I guess he's our Bigfoot. World War I Airman Ghost. This intriguing photo, taken in 1919, was first published in 1975 by Sir Victor Goddard, a retired RAF officer. The photo is a group portrait of Goddard's squadron, which had served in World War I at the HMS Daedalus training facility. An extra ghostly face appears in the photo. In back of the airman positioned on the top row, fourth from the left, can clearly be seen the face of another man. It is said to be the face of Freddie Jackson, an air mechanic who had been accidentally killed by an airplane propeller 2 days earlier. His funeral had taken place on the day this photograph was snapped. Members of the squadron easily recognized the face as Jackson's. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. 9 experienced mountaineers succumbed to mysterious deaths on Dead Mountain. The picture above was taken by the rescue crew. The tent had been ripped open from the inside, and the hikers had run barefoot out into heavy snow. A search operation found most of the victims between 300 and 600 meters of a nearby cedar, dying in poses that suggest they were attempting to return to the tent. 6 of the hikers died of hypothermia, but 3 died of fatal injuries, 2 with major chest fractures and 1 with major skull damage and a missing tongue. There was no sign of a struggle and no unexplained footprints. The strangest part of all this is that items of clothing worn by the hikers that were examined in the investigation were found to be highly radioactive. The official investigation wrote that a compelling natural force was the cause of deaths. In terms of scale, I'd probably say the Phoenix Lights. Stephen Mitchell axe burns from a supposed UFO encounter. Here is the full story if anyone wants to see it. A friend of mine took this picture in the attic of an abandoned house, edit, in the town where she lives. Nobody had noticed until she showed me the pictures of the house. Look at the bench on the left. This photo creeps me out. The Amityville Ghost Boy. I'm not sure if it has been solved or anything, but what I can remember of the story is that on one of the Warrens' big investigations in the house they hadn't really found anything, but an automatic camera picked up this and there was nobody in the house. Dun. McMinnville UFO Photographs Wiki. From Wiki. Today, the McMinnville UFO photographs remain among the best publicized in UFO history, and are among the most discussed and debated. To many ufologists, the two photos rate as being among the most reliable and persuasive in arguing for the existence of UFOs as a real, physical phenomenon. The Tulip Staircase Ghost. Edna Cintrone. This photo has bothered me more than any other. How is she alive? Everything is a lie. One of my friends discovered this picture of her mom at a wedding. No one had realized the man's face in the mirror to the right of the women until she pointed it out. No one knows who he is or saw him at the wedding at all. Maybe it's just a weird coincidence, but freaky nevertheless. It's not a photo, but the Max Headroom incident is pretty creepy. Although there was a post on Reddit a while ago from a dude who said he thinks he knew who the perpetrators were. Either way, can you imagine if that came on when you were watching TV before bed? Damn son. This photo taken of me and some friends has been freaking me out lately. It was taken 3.5 years ago and I didn't notice something freaky in it until about a year ago. My friend actually pointed it out. Whose hand is behind my head? You will notice there's not an arm on the other side of my head. Now, what's really freaky is I was Skyping with a friend and he randomly just freaked out and was saying something about a weird, orange hand behind my head. I texted my friend about it because I figured she would have gotten a laugh out of it. She just so happened to be the friend that pointed out the floating hand behind my head and asked if it looked like that. I showed the guy the picture and he freaked out even more and said that that was exactly what he saw. He had never seen the photo before. The Black Knight satellite is pretty creepy. Basically it was a satellite of unknown origin that was sending signals to Earth and then disappeared, but what makes it more creepy is that it was in Earth polar orbit, and at the time neither the Americans nor Russians were capable of that. The Solway Firth photograph. Jim Templeton was in a marsh taking photos of his young daughter, and after getting them developed there appeared to have been a spaceman in full astronaut gear standing behind her. Except there wasn't anyone else around while they were there. Even Kodak verified that it was not tampered with. Freaks me the fuck out. After I saw it for the first time all I could think about was that one episode of Doctor Who, I don't know which one. That one. The one with the astronauts, and then I started imagining seeing one in the woods just staring at you. Or that one would be standing next to my bed just staring. I was in tears that night, too afraid to move. It was awful.